Zorel here with a new video for you. Welcome to part 11 of What If Izuku Was a Stand User. I apologize for my brief stint of absence. I was moving into my university, and for some reason they didn't have recording places open on the first week of school. So, I found a place, and I am back. I'm up and running. And I am super happy to be narrating this video for you guys. I just wanted to greet you guys by saying sit back and relax. You're in for a treat. So, we begin. The dust cloud from the knockdown zero-pointer finally cleared, allowing the other students to get a view of what happened. Thankfully, it appeared that everyone was accounted for, until one of the girls from Class B worried about the location of Tetsu Tetsu, while Kaminari asked where Kirishima was. After a couple of seconds, everyone heard metal clanging noises come from the zero-pointer's arm, with Kirishima popping out from the metal frame. I'm alive! Yo, Todoroki, what the heck's gotten into you lately, man? You could have killed someone! Seconds later, his soon-to-be rival Tetsu Tetsu also emerged from the cold, dead robotic arm. That ice guy is so gonna get it when I get my hands on him! Everyone on the ground was relieved to see Tetsu Tetsu and Kirishima alive and well, but now they had to focus on the robots blocking their path. Come on, guys! We beat these things by the dozens once! We can do it again! The orange-haired girl from Class B rallied the other students to fight through the robotic crowd, but others like Bakugo used their explosion quirk to blast himself over the obstacles, with Sero, Tokoyami, Uraraka, and a dozen others following suit. All the while, the students with more grounded quirks were forced to clear a path. Midoriya knew he had to join the ground team and get his hands dirty to press on. Let's go! Personal Jesus, Act 2! Midoriya's stand emerged from his body as it stuck close to its master. Midoriya's first target was a one-pointer robot, which was in a charge towards the green-haired teen. He ordered Act 2 to ready himself to attack, hoping that Personal Jesus' newer form would fare better against the robot than his previous form. As soon as the bot got in range, Act 2 used its shield to smash the head of the zero-pointer. After 2 blows with the stand shield, the one-pointer hit the ground with electric sparks popping from its body. Midoriya yelled out a "Yes!" realizing that he could finally put up a fight against these robots. Izuku took down about 2 one-pointers and even a 2-pointer before he and the other students cleared out the small fry robots, leaving only the remaining threat to be the 3 gargantuan zero-pointers. Everyone, including Midoriya, froze up, wondering what to do next as no one seemed confident in taking down 3 zero-pointers at once. But then, massive explosions rocketed against the massive robots, knocking them out of commission. Midoriya and the other students saw that these explosions came from Momo Yaoyorozu, who, during the conflict, was busy creating a series of cannons to deal with the bigger threats in the area. Come on, everyone! The path is clear! Let's go! Yaoyorozu said as she buttoned up her UA shirt. The other students began making their way to the next section, while Midoriya was thinking about how impressive Yaoyorozu was, as he remembered that she got in on recommendation and could easily tell why. For those of you who thought the first obstacle was easy, let's see how you feel about the second one. Anyone who wants to get past this zone is gonna have to get creative and not have a fear of heights. It's the fall! Midoriya caught up to the group ahead and spotted Uraraka and Mina Ashido, who were looking at a pink-haired girl flying through the air and talking about how incredible her babies were. Hey Uraraka, what's going on? Izuku's sentence was halted as he gazed at the anxiety-triggering depths and geological absurdity that was the fall. Seriously? How the heck does this school have the time and budget to do something like this? That's what I was thinking! Midoriya and the others were hesitant to press on until they saw a few of the students use their quirks to traverse the obstacle in their own way. They even spotted faint explosions off in the distance where Bakugo and Todoroki were. I didn't come this far to lose! Uraraka used her zero gravity on herself and floated over the great hole in the ground, all while the others looked on. Hey, why didn't she share some of that zero gravity with us? Mina pouted. Because that wouldn't be a smart idea, Midoriya said to the pink-haired girl. She looked at Izuku like she couldn't understand what he was saying. Aside from the fact that we're each fighting for our own chance to come out on top, we have to show those watching at home that we can do it on our own. Even though we're training to become heroes, it'll do more harm than good in this situation to help others here. He's right, Miss Ashido, Ida said, walking up to Midoriya and Ashido. What example would we show the pros watching at home if we asked our fellow students for an easy way out of a situation like this? They'd think we'd be incapable of getting out of tough situations without relying on others for help. Teddy walked up to the cable at the edge of the cliff As he turned around and said to his fellow classmates, "I'll see you at the finish line. Please be careful here." He then jumped on the cable and used his entry quirk to slide along the cable, all while President Mike commented on how foolish he looked. Izuku didn't have a lot of strategies on how to advance here. Personal Jesus offered very little utility that would help Midoriya in this situation, which means that he had to get across the old-fashioned way. Midoriya got down on all fours and, just like in the anime, shimmied along the cable upside down with Mina just behind him moving a bit slower than Midoriya was. Up ahead, Todoroki finally cleared the fall, with his only competition being Bakugo, who was finally getting fired up and was quickly catching up to him. "You're not getting away from me, Icy Hot!" Bakugo yelled as he set his sights on Shoto. Katsuki touched down on the ground from his explosive flight, but something went wrong. He fell on the ground and placed a hand on his side. Bakugo mistakenly twisted his body on the landing, hurting his already fragile ribs. Todoroki looked behind him and saw Katsuki's current state. "What's Bakugo doing? It's his injury. He's not fully healed up." "A pity. And here I thought he was going to be a challenge." Bakugo slowly tried to get back up, all while his hands were on the ribs where his injury was. "Damn it! Not now! This is the worst possible time for this to happen!" Bakugo raged. He quickly got back up and continued his pursuit for the first-place student. In a flashback, Bakugo remembered an interaction he had with the UA nurse recovery girl the day before the UA Sports Festival. "Hey, you're the school nurse, right? Midnight said you wanted to see me." Bakugo spoke to recovery girl.
"Ah, Katsuki. Yes, I was hoping to run into you before the festival. I need to speak with you about something important. Now, I know there's nothing I can say that will prevent you from attending the festival tomorrow, and with how important it is, I do urge you to be a part of it. However, as the school nurse, it's my job to provide the best possible medical advice to all students, and as such, I must advise you, take it easy for the games tomorrow."
"Huh? Take it easy?" Bakugo calmly asserted to the nurse. "This is the biggest school event of the entire year, and you're telling me to just hold back? Why the heck would I do that?"
"You kids nowadays are so stubborn about your health. Well, young man, knowing your behavior and what I've seen of you so far, you probably think that if you injure your ribs tomorrow, I'll just heal you up with my quirk and everything will be fine and dandy. If I'm right, then I'm afraid it's not going to go that way."
Bakugo looked at the woman like he was confused by what she was talking about.
"My power stimulates the body's natural ability to heal. I could heal broken arms, torn muscles, and other minor injuries without a problem. However, an injury like yours is a different story. The reason being is that my quirk cannot reattach or heal a body part that's been removed from your main body. In other words, sliced off arms, fingers, and other body parts removed from your main body cannot be fixed or reattached with my power. While I was able to fix up your lungs, liver, and your diaphragm, or if your ribs from your accident were shattered off your rib cage and are being held in place right now by what is basically industrial strength medical glue. While this glue is holding your ribs in place, they're not fully reattached to your body yet. The only way I can speed up your healing is if your ribs heal themselves through natural means and reattach themselves to your rib cage. Once that happens, then I can speed up your recovery. But based on the severity of your injury, I won't be able to do this for roughly 3 weeks. So I'm not sure how all out you plan on going for this event, but you need to be careful. If you get too physical tomorrow and re-injure yourself, I cannot heal you, and you'll have to go back to the hospital."
"God damn it, that hag was right," Bakugo thought to himself as his flashback ended. "I can't afford to screw myself this early. I'll be eliminated from the festival early at this rate. Damn it!" Back at the Midoriya residence, Inko Midoriya was watching the sports festival with her friends and house guests, Mitsuki and Masaru, aka the parents of Katsuki Bakugo. After what happened at the USJ with their son, Mitsuki needed the love and support of a friend to help her through the event of almost losing her son. As such, her dear friend Inko spent extra time with her to support her and even invited her over for a little watch party for the big event. Unfortunately, they weren't too happy with what was happening with the big red-eyed boy on the television. "Oh dear, I think Katsuki's injury is starting to flare up again," Inko commented, noticing Bakugo's state. The mother of the explosive blonde also took note of what was happening. Oh no, come on, Katsuki! I didn't raise you to be a crybaby quitter! Take the pain like a man and show that kid what you can do! Sweetie, his ribs are fragile right now, her husband noted. I mean, for God's sake, you had a rib injury yourself once. You know what it's like. I know, but dang it, honey, Katsuki's not the type to give up. He's gonna go all out no matter what. All we can do for him is cheer him on and hope he doesn't hurt himself to the point of dropping out of the games. Come on, Katsuki, make me a proud mama! Back at the obstacle course, Todoroki finally arrived at what looked like a massive dirt field with little circles in the ground. Looks like Class 1A's Todoroki has finally arrived at the last obstacle, Vlad commented. That's right, amigo, but if I were him, I'd take your time and watch your step, 'cause you're treading on a minefield! President Mike yelled through the speaker system. For the record, these landmines were designed specifically for the game, so they're not all that powerful. Just enough to make you wet your pants! You seem to be getting into the spirit of this game, aren't you? That's just how I roll, Daddy-o. Come on, everyone, let's make some noise for our contestants! Todoroki slowly made his way across the field as he began to think that the choice of a minefield was actually a clever ploy that puts those in front of the race at a disadvantage. His analytical thinking was halted as he heard explosions blast off from behind him, but they weren't from the mines in the ground, but rather from Bakugo, who finally caught up with Shoto. Bastard! You declared war on the wrong person! Katsuki threw an explosion at the icy hot teen, hoping to mess up his footing and make him step on a landmine, but he missed. Todoroki and Bakugo went back and forth for roughly half a minute, throwing ice and explosions at each other. All the while, they were both watching their footing and advancing further into the minefield. Careful, Bakugo. I could tell you're not at 100%. I saw you take that tumble earlier. You haven't fully healed up from your injury, have you? Shut up! Injury or not, my plan hasn't changed. I said I'm gonna win, and that's what's gonna happen! The two of them continued going back and forth until suddenly, the two of them began to sink into the ground, as if the terrain became soft, like quicksand. Whoa, hey now, what's going on? The first and second place students are sinking into the ground. What the heck is happening here, folks? President Mike questioned. On the other side of the commentary booth, Vlad began to smirk and chuckle. Take a closer look, Mike. A third contender is about to throw their hat into the ring. Todoroki and Bakugo were trying to find the cause of why they were sinking, eventually laying their eyes on a pale-skinned student's head sticking out of the ground. The surprised student leapt from the water like earth, reverting the ground back to normal and trapping Shoto and Katsuki's ankles in the dirt. Thanks for keeping first place warm for me. Hope you don't mind if I take it, the boy said, passing through the two fighting Class A students. Yes! In an out-of-nowhere move, Class B's Juzo Hononuki has taken the lead. The previous first-place students of Class A made the mistake of focusing on some foolish rivalry, allowing the obviously better and more well-skilled student of Class B to set himself and his class up for an overwhelming victory and show the others watching that my hero class is a superior one. Ha ha ha! Ease. And you said I was the one getting into the spirit of things. Also, Vlad, part of being a commentator is not having a bias, you know? I mean, I know this race is getting crazy, but there's like 10 classes in this race, aside from the hero course fighting for the same— Go, Juzo! Go! Midoriya finally arrived to the minefield and looked at the ensuing chaos as explosions and pink dust were all over the place. Izuku had to think strategically on how to proceed. Best plan he could think of for the time was the same thing the others were doing. Tread slowly and carefully on the ground and watch your step. However, Izuku could see where exactly in the ground the landmines were planted, so they weren't too difficult to spot. So he knew to only step on the footprints left over from those further in the race, knowing that they were basically safe spots he could step on without triggering a landmine. But then, he had another thought. He quickly summoned Personal Jesus and ordered it to inflict an effect on him. The stand symbol ring on the plate of its shield began to spin and lock into a symbol. The stand then placed its hands on Midoriya's temple as his eyes began to rapidly blink from what his stand was doing. Just then, Midoriya's pupils changed as he noticed his vision changed. Midoriya had his stand tamper with his vision by altering the photoreceptors of Midoriya's eyes, essentially hacking his eyes to see brighter light and more saturated colors, similar to what happened during the entrance exam when his stand helped Uraraka. The idea being that Midoriya would have a much better time seeing the treaded footprints in the ground and the landmine circles in the ground, so he'd have an easier time watching his step than the other students. With his vision heightened and his personal Jesus by his side to guide him, Izuku began to make his way through the minefield at a quick jogging pace compared to the others who were moving with the speed of a slow, cautious walk. Up ahead, Bakugo used his explosion quirk to blast the ground around his ankles, freeing himself as he pulled himself from the ground, unknowingly tweaking his ribs again, causing him to bend over in pain, but Bakugo's adrenaline began to kick in as he set his pursuits on Juzo. "That was a bad move, you freaky-faced bastard! Whoa, okay, someone's angry. I don't normally like fighting dirty, but guess I don't got a choice!" Hononuki softened the ground, plucked a pair of landmines from the ground, and tossed them at Bakugo. Katsuki panicked and dodged the incoming explosives, but didn't notice he accidentally stepped on a mine and was blasted a couple dozen meters into the sky. Whee! The blast rocked his body, including his ribs, which were really pulsating with pain now. God! Damn it, you cheap Class B bastard! Bakugo used his quirk to control the trajectory of his flying body and used it to fly through the air once again. Hononuki unknowingly gave Bakugo a strategic advantage as he was now flying over the minefield. Juzo also spotted another surprise contender quickly making his way through the minefield. It was Tenya Ida, who was rocketing across the field with explosions blasting just behind his path. His odds of first-place victory were slipping. He had to hurry. He softened the ground below him and decided to swim the rest of the way underground. Todoroki, after a couple of seconds, dug his ankles free from the ground and realized he was in danger of losing as well. He had no choice but to use his quirk to coat the field in ice, essentially making a makeshift ice rink to skate across. He hoped to avoid this earlier as it would give the others behind him an advantage, but he had no choice. The move also caused Ida to panic as he was now running across a sheet of ice, causing him to slip and fall on the ice, becoming a human hockey puck who was heading for a section of the minefield not coated in ice. Ida knew this was going to hurt. Tenya triggered at least 2 landmines from his fall and was blasted at least a couple dozen feet in the air as he yelled out in pain-riddled discontent. "Sorry, Ida, but I plan on winning this festival," Todoroki said to the flying engine boy as he skated across the ice. While Todoroki was making his move, a student with green vines for hair watched the actions of Todoroki with visible signs of dismay on her face. "You Judas! Betraying Thyone for your own selfish gain! Such a cruel, sinful act!" The girl then struck her strands of hair into the ground as she called the students of her class to her side. "Come to me, my friends! Just like Moses who parted the Red Sea so he could walk its ocean floor, I shall rid our path of this ice-covered nuisance and provide a safe path for thy lost sheep to victory!" Ibara yanked her head back, causing her vines from under the ground to pop out the mines from the earth and connecting with Todoroki's ice, causing a massive line of synchronized explosions, which shook and rocketed the play space, destroying the ice Shoto had created. The concentrated yield of the blast caught everyone's attention and knocked about 8 people off their feet. Even Midoriya was blown away by the monstrous blast. The only one that didn't know what was happening was Juzo, who was still in a beeline for the finish. "What the heck was that explosion?" Juzo said, swimming through the ground. "There's no way a single landmine can have that much power. Something big must have happened on the surface. Just hope no one got hurt." "Holy whoa! What an explosive play by Class B's Ibara Shiozaki! Vlad, your students are incredible! What the heck are you teaching them?" "Ha ha! Each of my students are fueled by their own drive and desire to be the next best hero in the world. I simply teach them the fundamentals necessary for achieving their goal. My students may have been in my class for only a month's time now, but each of them have so much potential to give to this world. I'm so proud of them all!" Alrighty. It appears to be a neck-and-neck fight for first place between Katsuki Bakugo and Juzo Hononuki with no third-place competition in sight. Who will come out on top? Come on, Juzo! You can do it! Dude, seriously? Again with the biased commentary? Here they come! The camera spotted Hononuki swimming through the concrete floor of the tunnel leading to the arena, with Bakugo quickly catching up behind him. It could be anyone's game here. No one knew who was going to win until finally, through the entranceway, Hononuki leapt up from the water-like concrete with Bakugo flying just over him as they both crossed the finish line. It was so close, no one could tell who won. "I don't believe this! I've been commentating these sports festival gigs for years now, but this is the first time ever we've had a literal photo finish! Katsuki Bakugo and Class B's Juzo Onanuki both crossed at the same time. We're gonna need a frame-by-frame replay on who just won this thing. It was Juzo. It had to be, Vlad commented. We don't know that, Vlad. We gotta wait for the replay. But while the video peeps are readying the replay footage, it looks like the rest of the students are about to make their way through the finish line. In third place, we have Class A's Fumikage Tokoyami. Boo! Followed by Class A Shoto Todoroki and Hanata Seiro in 4th and 5th place. Boo! And in 6th place, Class B's Ibara Shiozaki. Yeah! Dude, seriously? You gotta stop. More and more students made their way to the finish line as Midoriya eventually made his way through the last stretch hall. Izuku crossed the finish line at the obstacle course, unsure of what place he came in. All he knew was that Yayorozu and Mineta were just behind him, and in front of him was a girl with dark green curly hair and pointy teeth, along with Uraraka, who was out of breath and congratulated Izuku on a job well done, also bringing up that with their standing, they could likely advance to the next round as people were still pouring through the finish line. While the rest of the students were finishing their run, President Mike announced that the video editors finished compiling the photo finish between Bakugo and Hononuki and directed everyone's attention to the Jumbotron. The screen showed Hononuki diving out of the concrete his quirk created, with Bakugo flying over him. As the two of them approached the finish line, the frames of the camera ticked by one after the other. After 5 ticks, the cameras showed that Bakugo crossed first by just a pinky's length, making the first place winner of the UA obstacle course, Katsuki Bakugo. Hononuki, a small handful of Class B students, and Vlad King in response all had looks of disappointment on their face. While back at the Midoriya household, Bakugo's mom was as happy as can be, dancing around Inko's living room like a game show contestant that just won a brand new car! All while her husband was sitting down on the couch, incredibly proud of his son. He didn't have a victory dance like his wife did, so he decided to post a few happy things on his social media account instead. Back at the arena, Bakugo was hunched over with a hand on his ribs. While he was happy that he came in first place, it came at a cost. Bakugo had the realization that he went too hard during the obstacle course and his ribs were seething in pain. Deep down, he was having second thoughts about whether or not he'd be able to do the next game or not. As out of character as it was for Kacchan, he was actually having thoughts about whatever the next game was, and he hoped it would be something less physical. The crowd continued cheering as the rest of the students poured through the finish line, including the millions watching at home. One of the millions watching was, of course, Shigaraki, who spotted Midoriya from his television back in his hideout. Tomura picked up his phone and called Giren to tell him about his discovery. Giren, it's me. Are you watching the sports festival? Good. I found the boy that could be the stand user. He's on TV right now. He's the kid with the messy green hair that's talking to that girl with the pink cheeks. Really? That's him? Giren questioned. He doesn't look so tough. Alright. Well, anyway, it wasn't easy and it took a lot longer than I had hoped, but I was able to track down Mr. Otoishi and got into contact with him again. Seemed happy to hear from me after all these years. I'll let him know about the kid with the green hair and get him to confirm if he's a stand user or not. While we're at it, just say the word and I'll bring him in for a League of Villains job interview. Shigaraki watched Izuku from his television, scratching his neck in discontent. Have him confirm the stand user thing for us first. Then we'll talk about a meeting. Alrighty. No problem, Shig. I'll call you later with what I got. Till then, keep enjoying the show. Giren ended the call as Tomura scratched his neck at the glance of the green-haired boy on the TV. So, Izuku Midoriya. You're the boy that ruined my plan to kill All Might. Stand user or not, I'm gonna make you suffer for what you did. Eventually, the last of the students made their way past the finish line, with the top 42 students advancing into the next round. Before Midnight discussed the further games of the festival, she quickly showed the standings of where the other students placed. Izuku looked at the Jumbotron and saw that he placed 19th in the obstacle course. With his friend Uraraka in 17th, his other friend Jiro in 28th, and shockingly enough, Tenya Ida was in 7th, despite his quirk being all about speed. As soon as everyone got an idea of how they did, Midnight announced that the real fun was about to begin. A projection screen appeared behind Midnight once again, displaying that the next event for the festival was... It's the cavalry battle! Midnight explained that the game would follow the same rules as the traditional playground game, where each team would consist of 2 to 4 players, with each member of said team having a set number of points based on how well they did during the obstacle course. The points assigned started at increments of 5, with the bottommost position being worth 5 points, to the second place position being worth 205. As for the top position, you may ask? She announced that the first place winner would have a point value of 10 million. As soon as the number was announced, everyone's eyes in the arena went straight to Bakugo, who, in a rare sight, had a look on his face as if he had shit his pants. 10 million? You gotta be kidding me! He said out loud. Oh, I'm not kidding, kiddo, Midnight said to the team with a smirk. The games of the festival are all about survival of the fittest, with this next game giving a chance for those on the bottom to overthrow the top. After Midnight explained the rules of the game further, she told the participants to assemble their teams, as the battle would begin in 15 minutes. Which team will Midori assemble for the battle? Who will Bakugo pick for the event? Can he hold on to the 10 million point headband for the whole game with his injured ribs? All these questions and more will be answered in the next episode of What If Izuku Was a Stand User? Thank you all for sticking around, and I hope that you enjoyed. Before you leave, we would just like to let you know that We the Celestials has many other channels for your entertainment and viewing pleasures. All the information you'll need is right below here in the description, so feel free to check out all the other incredible projects our team creates. Secondly, on behalf of We the Celestials, I'd like to thank everyone involved in the production of today's awesome content. Their details will be in the description below. That's all for today's video, so goodbye, and have a divine day.